You ever have one of those nights where everything comes to a head and you just feel like you have had enough? I remember it well. It was around the year 2000, and I worked at a store that was my lifeline, my little corner of the world. I was 24 years old, full of spark and mischief, with a head of shoulder-length brown hair and eyes that seemed to dance with different intentions. To put it plainly, I had my share of frustrations, particularly with my boss, who, let us just say, did not have the best managerial skills. Her refusal to listen to reason drove me up the wall. We would argue about how the store should be organized. I felt so worn down, and every little disagreement only made my anger fester. It reached a breaking point when she chose to side with a coworker during one particularly heated argument. I was furious. Imagine having your voice pushed aside, feeling belittled by someone who should be steering the ship. I know, looking back, some of my actions were uncalled for. I acted like a complete brat and regrettably too often gave in to my entitlement. But there was one thing that was for sure. I was done being sidelined. As I closed up the store that fateful night, I had a different plan forming in my mind. The minutes ticked away until all my coworkers left, leaving me alone in the dimly lit store. The air felt thick with possibilities, and the flickering light seemed to whisper secrets. I knew I had a chance, and boy, did I intend to take it. I wandered to my boss's desk, glancing around as if the walls themselves were listening. An opportunity had dropped right into my lap like ripe fruit, and my heart raced with anticipation. I had seen her enter her computer password far too many times. With the confidence of someone who felt like they had nothing to lose, I unlocked her computer. What I did next was the culmination of every displeasure I had suffered at her hands. I figured if she thought she could treat me unfairly, there would be consequences. I signed her up for at least 20 different adult website subscriptions, and yes, I used her work email. Each subscription was designed to send daily updates featuring content that would surely raise an eyebrow or two. As each confirmation popped up on her screen, I felt a malicious satisfaction wash over me. I could almost hear my inner voice cheering, telling me that indeed I had struck back. But I wasn't done yet. Oh no. My mind raced with ideas and I plotted the finale of my revenge. I grabbed a stack of her floppy disks that she used for backing up important data. I knew this was her lifeline for work documents. I marched outside to my truck, retrieved a large magnet, the kind used from a speaker I had replaced, and returned to her desk. As I ran it over every single floppy disk, I envisioned the horror on her face when she discovered that every file was corrupted. There was something undeniably satisfying in that moment, a distorted mixture of justice and vengeance. I could almost taste it. Then came the dramatic final act. I printed out a bold sign that simply read, "I quit." With a flourish, I placed it on the cash register. I had taken my time erasing her computer's history. There was no trace of my activity. The tension peaked as I realized just how far I had gone. I locked up the store behind me, tossing the key into the nearest trash can with a sense of finality. The rush of adrenaline coursing through me was exhilarating. It was the climax of my master plan. The next day, when the store failed to open on time, my heart danced with a twisted sense of joy. I had no idea how that would unfold, but in that moment, I felt a kind of liberation. In the aftermath, I did not hear from her or anyone at the store again. It was as if I had stepped out of that part of my life and in the process left a whirlwind of chaos in my wake. Looking back, did I do the right thing? Perhaps not. I often wonder how it felt when she realized the extent of my petty revenge, and I can't help but smile at the picture surrounding me. It spoke to the notion that sometimes, even in our moments of anger, we stumble into opportunities for change. Maybe it was a seductive twist of fate, or just the release I needed to shake off that shadow of frustration. Who knows? But I'll take those little moments of defiance over complacency any day. So, what about you? What kind of story do you have in your own life? Have you ever reached that moment when you simply had to push back? I invite you to share your tales of rebellion because they deserve to be heard. After all, there is power in telling our stories and finding that balance between right and wrong. If you enjoyed this journey today, do me a favor. Subscribe and hit that bell icon so you are always the first to know when another adventure comes your way.